Don't think Vietnam is just about gentle beauties and romantic beaches anymore. This land, which appears calm on the surface, is actually full of surprises. When traveling, you might think you're enjoying services, but in fact, someone has long set up a script for you behind the scenes. At the bottom of Vietnamese society, some businesses are above board, some are half black and half white, and some even walk the line between legality and the gray area, making it hard to get out once you step into them. Today, we won't talk about scenic spots or food. Instead, we'll expose the top 10 astonishing phenomena in Vietnam that you can't see or hear, but which truly exist. Some of these phenomena will make you exclaim at how absurd they are. Some will make you break into a cold sweat, and others, you might have encountered them before, but were deceived by the disguise. Top 10. Renting female tour guides. With the booming tourism industry in Vietnam today, a secret yet thriving service is quietly prevailing: renting female tour guides. They not only take you to check in at scenic spots, but also accompany you for meals, chats, and even participate in nightlife. In popular cities like Da Nang, Nha Trang, Hanoi, and Ho Chi Minh City, such multifunctional tour guides have quietly become the first choice for some tourists. On the surface, they are professional guides who are fluent in languages and familiar with the roads, but in reality, they undertake all-round companionship that goes far beyond the scope of their profession. Most of these female guides come from economically underdeveloped areas in Vietnam. They are young and beautiful and are willing to engage in this gray industry to make money. Intermediary platforms, under the pretext of high-end tours, recruit and train through the internet and travel agencies and set prices and take orders according to the content of services. They are proficient in accompanying meals, shopping, and playing, and there are even tourists who regard them as short-term partners. For these women, this job means income, but also risks and moral pressure. On one hand, they are tourism practitioners in the eyes of their parents. On the other hand, they are Vietnamese girlfriends in the mouths of tourists. Between reality and disguise, they can only silently maintain this tacit understanding of not exposing each other. The prevalence of renting female tour guides is the most unspoken but real link in the tourism industry chain. Top 9. The most charming clothing. The áo dai is known as Vietnam's national costume. It is a traditional long robe that combines elements of Chinese cheongsam and Vietnamese local clothing. Usually made of light silk, the upper garment is close-fitting with slits on both sides of the waist and is worn with wide-leg pants, showing the unique grace and curvy beauty of Vietnamese women. Unlike Chinese cheongsam, the áo dai hardly exposes the skin, but can accurately outline the undulating lines of a woman's body, forming a subtle and lasting visual appeal. The charm of the áo dai is not only in the clothing itself, but also in the cultural connotations behind it. In traditional Vietnamese society, women are encouraged to show the virtues of introversion, restraint, and temperance, and the áo dai precisely transforms these qualities into a visual language through the coverage of fabric and the ingenuity of tailoring. It makes sexiness no longer a superficial exposure, but an introverted and advanced expression. The choice of color for the áo dai also has deep meanings. Students wear white, symbolizing purity. Brides wear red, implying joy and wealth. Women in hue are fond of purple, representing elegance and loyalty. At major Vietnamese festivals, weddings, and national ceremonies, the áo dai is almost a must for women, not just a clothing choice, but an identification with cultural identity. In recent years, modern designers have begun to recreate the áo dai, adding elements such as embroidery, transparent tulle, and shoulder tailoring, making this traditional costume regain vitality on the international fashion stage. It is no longer limited to traditional occasions, but has become a cultural symbol for young women to express confidence and independence. In a rapidly modernizing country, the áo dai can still rank first as the most charming outfit for women, which shows its deep embedding in Vietnamese women's aesthetic cognition and cultural psychology. It is not just clothes, but the Vietnamese national character worn on the body. Top 8. The special purple áo dai. Hue, once the imperial capital of Vietnam, is now a city that is both classical and quiet. In this small city full of courtly atmosphere, there is a special color, the purple áo dai tim, which is regarded as the most typical aesthetic code of Hue women. This deep purple symbolizes nobility, elegance, and tranquility, which is in line with the temperament of Hue. Hue women are known in Vietnamese culture for being gentle and knowledgeable. They walk slowly, speak softly, and rarely make noise or argue in public. This code of conduct is not oppression, but an internalized expression under cultural expectations. The purple Ao dye is a concrete embodiment of this identity. It is not ostentatious, but profound, not exposed, but attractive. A woman wearing a purple Ao dye is like a walking Oriental poetry. Hue's aesthetic tradition is also deeply influenced by Confucianism, Buddhism, and Taoism. It was once a gathering place for royal poetry clubs, Qin societies, and painting clubs. Women are educated to be as quiet as orchids, and their virtues are more important than their appearance. But behind this spiritual beauty, the tailoring of the purple Ao dye is not conservative. The waist is tight, the fabric is light, and when fluttering in the breeze, it shows a subtle but real sexiness. This sexiness is not provocative, but a cultural sign of sexuality. Hue holds an Ao dye festival every spring. Women from all over the country wear Ao dye of various colors and parade slowly along both sides of the Perfume River, like a dialogue show between classical and modern. Purple is always the most popular main color, and has even become part of Hue's city image. The purple Ao dye is not a fashion trend, but a continuation of historical aesthetics. Behind this color is an exquisite writing of women's identity, a tribute to quiet strength, and the most elegant definition of women's temperament by the city of Hue. Top 7. The amazing water puppetry. Water puppetry, Mua Roi Nuoc, is a unique folk performing art in the Red River Delta of northern Vietnam. Its birth is closely related to Vietnam's agricultural civilization. It is said that this art form originated in the 11th century, when villagers performed with puppets on paddy fields after floods to pray for good weather. The puppets dance, roll, and fight on the water, as if the gods in the fields have awakened, bringing harvest and peace. Different from other Asian puppetry, the stage of water puppetry is set on a shallow pool, and the performers hide in a house behind the water to manipulate the puppets. Each puppet is connected to a long pole and a manipulation system. The puppeteers need to stand in the water for several hours and complete a whole performance by hand feeling, which tests both physical strength and skills and tacit understanding. The water on the stage also symbolizes the Vietnamese people's wisdom in dealing with the uncertainty of nature and adapting to it. The puppet images are mostly villagers, mythical beasts, historical figures, and mythological characters. The content covers folk stories such as agricultural cultivation, marriage customs, festival celebrations, and resistance to aggression, which often have moral implications and national spirit. In particular, classic episodes such as dragons playing with water, fairies descending to earth, and fishermen fighting jiaos integrate dance, singing, and soundtrack, which are highly ornamental. In the wave of urbanization, this traditional art is on the verge of disappearing, but in recent years, the Vietnamese government and cultural institutions have begun to protect and innovate it. There are special water puppet theaters in Hanoi to show this ancient skill to tourists, and modern playwrights are trying to introduce contemporary issues into the traditional performance framework to make puppetry glow with new vitality. Water puppetry is not only a form of entertainment, but also a local ritual. It retains the secret dialogue between Vietnamese farmers, the land, and the gods. The seemingly simple puppets flying over the water actually carry thousands of years of rural memories and cultural warmth. Top 6. Floating cities. The Mekong Delta is Vietnam's granary and water vein heart. People living here are almost accompanied by water all their lives. Different from the reinforced concrete civilization of cities, many families here still take floating houses on water as their homes. Houses built of wooden boards float on the water, connected to the shore with ropes, and boats are means of transportation, as well as shops, classrooms, bedrooms, and kitchens. This is not a symbol of poverty, but a long-standing way of survival. The Mekong River system is crisscrossed, with low-lying terrain and scarce land. People make the best use of the situation and build a floating world on the water. Especially near the Cambodia-Vietnam border, many water villages even have complete community structures, floating schools, floating churches, floating gas stations, and even water barbershops and floating vegetable markets. The most representative is the floating market, Cho Noi, culture. In these water markets, hundreds of small boats are arranged into shop streets. Buyers and sellers row boats to shuttle between them, with vegetables, fruits, hot food, seafood, and daily necessities available. To attract customers, merchants will hang their goods on the masts as billboards. For example, hanging a pineapple means that the whole boat sells tropical fruits. Women also play a core role in this way of life. They drive boats, run families, and participate in market transactions and community activities. In the water world, the gender division of labor is blurred, and women are no longer assistants but leaders. More importantly, this floating life has gradually developed a unique body language and water ethics, forming a cultural system with great ecological philosophy. In recent years, although urbanization and environmental protection policies have posed a threat to water communities, this way of life still exists and has become a hot topic in many documentaries, anthropological studies, and ecotourism. Water life is not only a survival strategy, but also an embodiment of the high adaptability of human civilization to the environment. In this water area, women not only hold up the family's boat, but also draw an independent and free route in society and culture. Top 5. Women first. In many township markets in Vietnam, especially in the northern mountainous areas and the central coastal areas, there is a unique phenomenon. The markets are almost completely dominated by women. From food, livestock to handicrafts, from bargaining to credit books, they are buyers, sellers, coordinators, and even like mayors. Men, if not accompanying or carrying goods, are often just background figures. This women's market is not only an economic phenomenon, but also a cultural phenomenon and an important embodiment of the social status of Vietnamese rural women. Although Vietnam has traditionally been influenced by Confucianism, women have long had strong economic control within the family. Especially in areas where agriculture is the mainstay and men go out to work all year round, women have gradually gained the initiative in family finance and community transactions. The structure of the market also has a strong female perspective. The order of setting up stalls, space division, and credit cycles often follow the kinship neighborhood trust chain. Many transactions are not settled immediately, but rely on oral credit for delayed payment. In this microfinancial system, women are not only participants, but also system creators. This also brings interesting social contrasts. When outsiders first arrive at these markets, they are often surprised by the scenes of women bargaining loudly and talking freely, which is completely different from the docile image of East Asian women. In the market, they are straightforward, determined, control the rhythm, and even dominate the wealth flow of the entire village. What's more wonderful is that this strong behavior is generally recognized in Vietnamese society, not criticized. Interestingly, the women's market culture is also closely related to aesthetic expression. Many stall owners will dress themselves up carefully, wearing bright-out dye, headscarves, bracelets, and lipstick. This daily dress-up forms a flowing color landscape in the market. For them, selling vegetables is not just a way to make a living, but also a social stage to show themselves. In a sense, the women's market subverts the gender role division in traditional economic theories and provides a tension-filled entry point for understanding Vietnamese rural society. It is a stage for women's daily life and an exquisite grassroots financial system that has been long ignored but operates well. Top 4. Goddess culture. In some remote areas of Vietnam, traditional culture and religious beliefs still retain a strong mysterious color. Especially among some ethnic minority groups, there is a unique phenomenon of incarnation of goddesses. Specific women are regarded as possessed by gods in important religious ceremonies and become sacred mediums. Such women are respectfully called goddesses by the local people. Their appearance is often accompanied by complex rituals, including prayer, dance, and chanting. After entering the divine state, their behaviors and words are considered to be the will of the gods, which can predict the future, drive away disasters, and even mediate conflicts within the tribe. This phenomenon not only reflects the special status of women in religious culture, but also reflects people's awe and dependence on supernatural forces. The phenomenon of goddess incarnation has profound anthropological value. Researchers point out that this ritual is a social control mechanism that strengthens tribal unity and order by endowing women with sacred identities. On the other hand, women gain rare power and respect in traditional society through this identity. Under the impact of modernization, these traditional rituals are facing the danger of disappearing, but they are still an important part of Vietnam's diverse culture. Through the study of the goddess phenomenon, we can not only get a glimpse of Vietnam's rich religious life, but also understand the complex roles of women in traditional society. Top 3. The Red Yao with special customs. The Red Yao is one of the ethnic minorities in Vietnam, famous for its unique cultural traditions. Among them, the women's hair ornament culture is particularly eye-catching. Red Yao women usually stop cutting their hair after adulthood, wrap their long hair into complex headdresses, and keep it for life. This is not only a symbol of beauty, but also carries profound cultural significance. This headdress has a complex structure, which often requires the assistance of relatives and friends to complete, including multiple processes such as braiding, winding, and decoration. The differences in color, shape, and decorations represent women's marital status, age, and social status. Long hair is regarded as a symbol of women's vitality, and also an important symbol of family inheritance and identity. This tradition of the Red Yao not only reflects respect for women's bodies, but also reflects their unique understanding of time and life. The continuation of hair symbolizes the continuation of the family and the inheritance of culture. Every strand of hair carries stories and history. The impact of modern society has made this tradition face challenges. Many young women have begun to choose a more modern lifestyle, but this culture is still strictly observed in the festivals and rituals of the Red Yao. For tourists and cultural scholars, the headdresses of the Red Yao are not only a visual shock, but also a window to understand the national spirit and women's identity. Top 2. Female religion. In most East Asian societies dominated by patriarchal culture, Vietnam's mother goddess religion is particularly special. The core of this indigenous religion is the worship of female gods, emphasizing the connection between maternal power and nature. The three most important gods in the belief system are called the Three Holy Mothers, who are in charge of the heavenly realm, mountains and forests, and water areas respectively. They not only symbolize the mystery of the natural world, but also are the protectors of social order and human relations. Mother Goddess religion has a long history, integrating various religious elements such as local animism, Taoism, and Buddhism. The core of its ritual is a performative sacrificial activity called spirit medium possession, which is usually performed by a selected medium, often a woman. This process is full of drama. The medium changes clothes, dances, drinks, and even smokes accompanied by the band and chanting, entering a trance state, which is regarded as a symbol of the gods descending to the world. This ritual, which integrates performance, belief, and psychological healing functions, is of great significance in Vietnamese society. Many people believe that through connecting with the gods, they can obtain blessing, exorcism, guidance, and even psychological comfort. Especially in historical periods when social pressure was strong and women's identities were suppressed, such rituals became a cultural channel for women to express their strength and confirm themselves. In 2016, the spirit medium ritual of Mother Goddess religion was listed by UNESCO as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity, becoming an important card of Vietnam on the international cultural stage. This religion not only shows the Vietnamese people's respect for nature and admiration for ancestors, but also reflects a unique view of female theocracy. In Vietnam's spiritual world, women are not vulnerable groups, but guardians of the cosmic order. Today, Mother Goddess religion has not declined in Vietnam, but has gradually entered the field of popular culture because of its strong color, strong cultural sense, and multifaceted symbolism. Whether modern artists reproduce sacrificial dances in exhibitions, or young people explore the dress-up of Vietnamese-style goddesses on social platforms, it shows that this female belief system is continuing to release its cultural energy in new forms. Top 1. A cave that can accommodate a Boeing aircraft. In Quang Binh Province, central Vietnam, there is a stunning geological wonder, Hang Son Dong, whose name means Mountain River Cave. It is recognized by the geological community as the largest natural cave in the world. The height of this cave can reach more than 200 meters, and the width is more than 150 meters, enough to accommodate a whole skyscraper or even a Boeing 747 airliner. What's more shocking is that the interior of Hang Son Dong has its own microecosystem, The collapse of part of the cave roof forms a skylight, and the sunlight penetrates to give birth to green vegetation and moss forests. There are also complete underground rivers, stalactites, cloud systems in the cave, and even bats, insects, and other animals multiply and live here, forming a closed micro-world. It was not until 2009 that this cave was jointly confirmed and made public by a Vietnamese and a British cave exploration team. Later, due to high development costs and high safety difficulties, it is only open to a very small number of professional explorers every year, known as the last secret place on Earth. To enter the cave, tourists need to trek for many days, descend with ropes, camp, and cross the dark and humid underground world. Hang Son Doong is not only a natural wonder, but also a mirror, reflecting the smallness of human beings in the face of geological time. Its existence challenges people's perception of the limits of nature and also promotes people's reattention to Vietnam's underground landforms. International geographical magazines, National Geographic Channel, BBC, and many other media have made in-depth reports on it in special topics. Today, the Vietnamese government is facing a difficult choice: whether to carry out large-scale commercial development of this natural attraction or maintain its original ecology. In any case, Hang Son Doong has become an important symbol of Vietnam's national geography and ecological spirit. It is not only a geographical miracle, but also an irreplaceable cultural capital. If you don't know where to go for your next trip, Vietnam must be your best choice. If you want to see where next time, welcome to leave a message below. See you next time.